Okay, with me now is a student from the University of South Australia. It is Emmanuel. And Emmanuel, you can say your surname for me.
Clironomos.
Yeah, and I said it perfectly in practice, but when it comes to pressing record and actually saying someone's surname, I just struggle. But thank you for coming on here and agreeing to share some of your wisdom in this How I Chose My Employer. So I'm going to dive in and ask you the first question straight up. Where did you look for your podiatry job opportunities?
Yeah, I started looking for my job opportunities back when I first started in 2020, always online at Seek, Indeed, and then usually towards the end, towards the end of my degree in fourth year, I started looking at the podiatry classified website. There
Okay.
was a lot of offers on there about different jobs in the area, especially SA, where you can become more localized. In my fourth year placements as well, I did become familiar with a couple of practices in Adelaide, which was great to spend some time with them and just get to know what's out there. And then I did my own research about different clinics in Adelaide myself, and even made time myself to go to the places and just observe and just spend time with the workers and just see what it's like.
And you
Yeah.
told me before I press record that you're one of the clever students who's been listening to this podcast
Did
from the
not say
top.
that.
Okay, I reworded that slightly. But you said you've been listening to the podcast since the time you started podiatry,
Yeah.
which I think is great. But the other part I just point out from what you said then was right from the time you started podiatry, you've been evaluating podiatry clinics and podiatrists and jobs as they've been coming through. And I've mentioned that to some podiatrists I know that, especially if you're in a capital city, it's really important to try and connect with the students while they're students. Get them to get to
That's
know
right. Yeah.
who
Exactly.
you are. There's a saying that I have, don't dig the well when you need the water.
Yeah.
And that's what some people do. All of a sudden, oh no, we need a podiatrist. And then they try and get a student. The students will go, who the hell are you? Never heard of you before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been living under a rock. So was there anything in any particular ad that when you saw it was a red flag that immediately put you off?
So for me, one of the things that I knew coming out of uni was that I wasn't going to know everything. So I was looking for a mentor who was going to help me become the podiatrist that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So I think for me, that was one of the most important things. And even from there, once I saw the job offer, I would always go onto the website just to have a look at, if they've got other podiatrists working there, are they new graduate podiatrists? Because if there weren't any other new graduate podiatrists at the place, that would be a kind of red flag for me as to they haven't got the mentorship skills in place to train you up or to get,
Okay.
yeah. So I think for me, it wasn't really about, oh, that's not a good place. It was more about what do they have to offer?
Yeah. So mentorship seems to be a very common theme.
Mm,
And I tell you, when it came to the mentorship, it was looking for someone that actually had a structured mentorship. It wasn't just them saying, oh, we have
yeah,
mentorship.
that's right. And even just seeing that there are other new grads or recent new grads working at the clinic and just seeing how they're going and where they're at is a great thing to see for clinics. Yeah.
So number three, how many interviews did you actually have?
So I had two in total. The first interview was more about just me getting to know the employer, them finding out more about me, my personality, and just about what they have to offer. And then I believe after that, it was a funnel to your personality and if you fit for the clinic. And then I was invited for a second interview, and that was more about the actual job itself, what they have to offer, and more about if what I wanted fit with what they could offer. And yeah, that from that I got the job.
Okay, so you had two interviews, but it was just the one employer that you actually had the interview with.
No, so they were both with the employer,
Yeah.
but the first one was more about just getting to know me and stuff, whereas the second one was more about the actual job itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And did they ask you any questions about you, what you liked about podiatry?
Yeah, I did. So yeah, the first interview was like more about why I've become a podiatrist, what I was, what I like to do outside of work, and what I'm looking for inside of my job. And yeah,
That leads me on to another question anyway, which was what aspects of podiatry do you like most?
so I like all aspects of podiatry, from the general care to the more complex nail surgeries and musculoskeletal cases.
Yeah.
I find the most satisfaction just caring and helping people help them. I enjoy all aspects, but the part that I enjoy the most definitely is the sports and musculoskeletal stuff. And that's because I find the problem solving involved in just helping them get back to what they want to do is great.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So you're saying because the MSK and biomechanical stuff, that because you're faced with a problem and then you've got to solve that problem, you've got that thought process
That's
compared
right,
to,
yeah.
and it's not saying that high risk feet, you don't have to think, but it's not as much problem solving involved.
Yeah, I just really enjoy the biomechanics side because there's a lot more problem solving and a lot more different types of interventions that you can intervene with, and just helping people get back to what they are limited from doing because of their injuries. Yeah.
So the place where you eventually said yes to, that you're starting in 2024, why did you say yes to that position? You may have already answered that because it seemed to be like you're after mentoring. So I'd say they obviously offered a lot of mentoring. Was there anything else about it that you just went, yeah, this is the place I want to work?
Yeah, so the place where I've said yes to, I actually went to observe the clinic multiple times before I accepted the offer. And just being part of the clinic, working alongside the other practitioners, I just enjoyed the work culture there. I saw that they had a lot more going on than just work. And I just feel like going to work every day, I feel like you need to be surrounded by people who also love their job and just also want to be around each other. The culture was definitely one of the big things for me. But apart from that, all the mentorship and development stuff was also a big part of what I was looking for.
Okay, this sort of leads on to the last actual question. Was money a factor when you said yes to your position?
No, so I actually didn't even know about what I was getting paid in the second interview. So for me, I was expecting that I would get just what was expected at the time.
Yeah.
For me, I wasn't too worried about what I was getting paid because I knew that down the track, all the skills that I was going to learn was going to lead to that high income, which I wanted. I was more focused on learning rather than earning at the start.
It's so good to hear. And that's what I tell a lot of new graduates anyway.
Yeah.
I get the first 2 years, even like you've got bills to pay, got to put a roof over your head, but really the money isn't really as important as what you will learn in that first 2 years.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But from the employers, if they're listening to this, I'd be saying to them, if you're going to not teach them anything, then you have to pay them a lot.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Oh, you're not going to,
yeah,
you're going to teach me nothing? Good. You're going to pay me a lot of money to have to go and do my own education outside of this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, okay, last thing, this isn't really a question, but it's more a final comment to employers. If an employer is listening to this, which I know there's going to be a lot listening to this, do you have any advice for them when it comes to employing someone in the future?
If they're willing to employ someone who's looking for what I'm looking for, I think to all employees is that podiatrists just want somewhere where they feel like they're going to learn and that they're going to develop into the podiatrist they want to be. Yep. And then just providing with the opportunities in the areas that they want to excel in and focus their careers in is the most important, I think.
Yeah, and that's why I've said to people in the past, it's really important to find the right person to actually join your team that's the right fit. If you find the right person that's the right fit, yep, everyone's going to be really happy. If you're not a good fit,
that's right. Yeah,
it'll work out.
That's right. Yeah,
it'll end badly. Okay, so Emmanuel, thank you very much for coming on and answering these questions. I'm sure
thank you for having me.
That anyone that was listening to this, any employers out there who are listening to this, going, damn it, wish I had got Emmanuel before somebody else signed him up. Hey, actually, before you finish, I'll ask you one last question. You're from South Australia. Was the plan to always stay in South Australia, or were you prepared to move?
Yeah, so one of the other things that was important to me was location.
Yeah.
So I'm planning on staying here. So I wanted a place pretty local to where I'll be living, yeah.
Okay, no, that's good. That was just a little bonus question I threw in then. Emmanuel, thank you very much for coming on, and I'm sure I will see you around the traps at some stage in the future.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, see ya.
See ya.